The last video started in Derby, located in the center of England in the River Derwent Valley, the birthplace of the factory system and the core of the Industrial Revolution, and the circle alignment was tracked through London, Leeds Castle in Maidstone and Dover in Kent, to the English Channel. My name is Michelle Gibson. Calais is a city and major ferry port in northern France and situated on the Strait of Dover, the narrowest point in the English Channel across from Dover in England. The old part of the town is called Calais Nord and is located on what is called an artificial island, on which this antique map shows that it was a star fort at one time. Surrounded by canals, like the Breguet Canal pictured here, and harbors. In the center of Calais Nord is La Place d'Armes, where the massive Tour du Guet is located. The windows at the top of the Tour du Guet have a familiar look to me, so for comparison, this is what the Mogadishu Cathedral in Somalia in the middle looked like before it was destroyed, with those double windows, as well as this tower at the Seville Cathedral in Seville, Spain, which was the capital of Moorish Spain on the right. La Place d'Armes and La Tour du Guet are located behind l'Hôtel de Ville, or the Town Hall of Calais, with its distinctive architecture and peacock topiary gardens. This is a comparison of the clock tower of l'Hôtel de Ville in Calais on the left, with the Elizabeth Tower at the Westminster Palace on the right. Big Ben is actually the name of one of its bells, and not the clock tower itself. This is the lighthouse of Old Calais on the left, compared with the Amadi Lighthouse in Noumea, New Caledonia, on the right. I believe that the advanced ancient maritime civilization built all of the world's lighthouses. While these two examples are not identical in design, they have similar design features. Calais is located in France's Pas-de-Calais department. The terrals pictured in the background are in Luce-en-Goële, in the same region as Calais. They are called slag heaps, and said to have been formed over 130 years' worth of coal mining. These two happen to be on the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. I see unacknowledged pyramids in the landscape, not slag heaps. Amiens is next on the alignment, a city and commune in northern France, 75 miles or 120 kilometers north of Paris. It is the capital of the Somme department of Hauts-de-France, or Upper France. Amiens Cathedral is called the tallest of the largest classic Gothic churches of the 13th century and the largest in France of its kind. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is a comparison of the entrance of Amiens Cathedral on the left with the St. Wenceslas Church in Baltimore. I would like to take a moment and acknowledge the great work of Baltimore Fats on his YouTube channel of the same name. I learned about St. Wenceslas Church only last night in his video, Hopkinsloss, which he and his friend Mary D. stumbled across after they went to Johns Hopkins University to do field research on buildings there for mudflood evidence. They are digging deeply and finding great information about Baltimore's hidden history. In our own ways, we are uncovering a story that really wants to be told, one that should never have gone missing in the first place. Mary D's Facebook page is Baltimore Mudflood History. I highly recommend that you check them out. This is the Tour Perret in Amiens. Look at the size of that thing compared to the surrounding buildings. Apparently, it is a residential skyscraper that we are told was built between 1949 and 1954. So only 4 years after the devastation of war and the end of World War II, after France having been occupied by Germany from 1940 to 1944, they were capable of building something like this? Really? This is the Picardy Museum, the main museum in Amiens on the top left. It was said to have been built between 1855 and 1867. The Natural History Museum in Merida, Mexico is on the bottom left, and the Art History Museum in Vienna, Austria is on the right. All three of these museums have shared characteristics. in different times and places. How is this even possible according to the history we have been taught? Next on the alignment we come to Paris, the capital and most populous city of France. It has been a major European center of finance, commerce, fashion, science, and the arts for hundreds of years. The Ile de la Cité is the geographic center of Paris and is called one of two remaining natural islands in the Seine River. That doesn't look like a natural island to me. This is a diagram of the Place Dauphine, a public square on the western end of the Ile de la Cité. It is said to have been initiated in 1607 by King Henry IV in honor of his son, the Dauphin of France, and the future King Louis XIII. Dauphin means dolphin in French. I wonder why the heir apparent of the French throne was called Dolphin. The other remaining natural island is the Ile Saint-Louis. I'm definitely calling that not natural. I mean, they're called artificial in Calais, but not in Paris. What's up with that? This is the Place de la Concorde in Paris, with its centerpiece obelisk, the Parisian Cleopatra's Needle. It was said to have marked the entrance of the Luxor Temple and gifted to France by Muhammad Ali, the ruler of Egypt and Sudan, in 1828. It was said to have been transported to the Place de la Concorde in 1833 and placed near the spot where King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were guillotined in 1793. We are told on the pedestal there are diagrams explaining the machinery used for its transportation. Keep in mind, we are told the obelisk weighs over 250 tons. There are two more said to have been relocated from Egypt, one in London and one in New York. I have serious doubts about their physical relocations and believe they were already there. The lost positive timeline of humanity is being deliberately covered up. I'm going to put a historic photo of Paris here and make the following points. Why aren't there more people in the capital and largest city of France? And look at the size of that architecture relative to the people that are in it. Next on the alignment, we come to Clermont-Ferrand, a city in central France and capital of the Auvergne region. Clermont-Ferrand ranks as one of the oldest cities of France. It is famous for a chain of extinct volcanoes that ring the city, including the highest, Puy de Dôme, 13 kilometers or 8 miles from the center of the city. I have found evidence of volcanoes and volcanism all along these alignments, which approximate the Earth's tectonic plates. I believe the ancient ones knew how to harness the energies of the Earth and use them for creative purposes, one of the many secrets of our past that has been lost. The Cathedral of Clermont-Ferrand dominates the city. When I saw the cathedral, its color reminded me of Edinburgh, Scotland, so I looked up pictures there and found a structural similarity in this photo in Edinburgh. Clermont-Ferrand was called the metropolis of the Arverni, of whom Vercingetorix was a leader, and who we are taught was executed by the Romans during Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars. There's a statue of him on top of the columned structure in the foreground, and the Place du Jaude in Clermont-Ferrand, depicted in this antique postcard. This is the National Monument of Scotland in Edinburgh, which looks a lot like the Parthenon in Athens, Greece, and the Nashville Parthenon in Tennessee in the United States, which was said to have been built in 2 years for the Tennessee Centennial Exhibition in 1897. Not buying that one either. This is a Roman coin depicting Vercingetorix after his defeat at the hands of the Romans. But he's usually portrayed looking like this instead. Clermont-Ferrand is said to have more than 1,400 caves in the surrounding area. Just like Nottingham, England, earlier on this alignment with its extensive cave system. These don't look natural either. Next on the alignment is the Massif Central, shown in purple on this map. The Massif Central is described as an elevated region in the middle of southern France, consisting of mountains and plateaus, covering about 15% of mainland France. And subject to volcanism in the distant past. The Massif Central is separated from the Alps by the Rhone furrow, with its hard limestone banks that look like masonry in this depiction here. The alignment goes right across the Puy de Sancy, called the highest mountain in the Massif Central. It is called the Mount of the Cross in the language of the region, Occitan, and said to be an ancient stratovolcano. It reminded me in appearance of Arthur's Seat, which is just outside of Edinburgh, Scotland. It is also said to be an ancient volcano. Next, the alignment goes through the Cevennes National Park in the Lozère state of the Languedoc-Roussillon region of France. It is called the land of shale and granite. I consistently find the ancient advanced civilization in national parks, and parks of all kinds for that matter. Let's see what we find in this part of southern France. It reminds me of what it looks like on the Pigeon River, where it forms the Canada-United States border between Ontario and Minnesota. These are the Runes waterfalls on the southern slope of Mont Lozère on the left. This reminds me of the Bayerfoss or Bridal Veil Falls on the right that are near Olafsvik, Iceland on the same alignment. Mont Lozère is called the highest peak in the Cevennes, a sub-range of the Massif Central. Love this description of it, a large mountain dotted with granite blocks. There are even standing stones on Mont Lozère in southern France. Just like what is found on the British Isles, the Watchstone in the Orkney Islands off the northern coast of Scotland is pictured here. This is Saint Chély du Tarn, a village of stone in the center of the Gorge du Tarn, just to the northwest of the Cevennes National Park. The stone village of Contobre is situated in the Cevennes National Park. I find it noteworthy that this vacation rental in Contobre is called the Egyptian, even though the promotional information says that it is named after a local vulture. Maybe, maybe not. The people who lived here were mighty comfortable with stone. I will end this video here and pick up the alignment in Perpignan, France in the next video.